Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. And, of course, today sees the start of the Greens Conference. Oh, dear God, help me. You're going to have Jeffrey and the Imp going to be standing there bestride the stage, telling all 12 people in the audience that they are going to do marvellous, wonderful, brilliant things that will make the world a better place. They're going to introduce poverty and misery for all by destroying that industry, collapsing that industry, not allowing oil, gas or coal to be burnt, and therefore everybody, although freezing to death, will feel righteous as they die. The economy will collapse. They will say, look at the devastation we've caused and be proud that you did it. What a bunch of morons. Anyway, one of the things that they're going to discuss is whether they should remain in coalition with the SNP and stay in government. What are they going to talk about? Oh yes, we're willingly going to step away and not join the SNP and get out of government and have no power whatsoever. Is that what a load of old rubbish. The trouble is the members down on the floor, all 12 of them sitting there, don't like it. They don't like the fact that they're in the government because it means that they have to abandon their Marxist principles and move ever so slightly away from the sort of hard left Marxism to the hard left but slightly not quite as left sort of Stalinism of the SNP. It is weird, isn't it? They're a weird bunch though. But anyway, we'll have a look at this to see what Jeffrey and the Imp are going to do. Here goes. So the Scottish Green Conference to debate SNP coalition as fury grows at unacceptable council tax freeze. It's not that unacceptable because you've accepted it. Because one thing I've noticed is over the last couple of days you haven't got up and walked out. You haven't said, no, we're not putting up with this and walked out of government. So therefore you find it all too acceptable. What a bunch of hypocritical two-faced twonks. Anyway, deviant Patrick Harvey and Jeffrey may be willing to put their principles to one side in order to stay in government. But party members are furious at the SNP's lurch to the right. You mean they've gone from very, very hard left, extreme left to very, very hard left, not quite so extreme left. They call that a lurch to the right. Anyway, the issue is set to come to a head on Saturday. Today, they're having their conference. It's in a telephone box somewhere, and some people are listening, apparently. Or they could just be people they've gathered up off the street. You know, they're charging a £100 entrance fee if you want to go and watch them. Who the hell is going to pay £100 to go and watch these two? I will give £100 to a charity on the condition that I am not going to hear them. On the other hand, I want the press to be there because it'll be funny. Anyway, members of the Scottish Greens are to stage an hour-long debate on the future of the Bute House Agreement with the SNP at the party conference in Dunfermline today. Now, what are they going to do for an hour? Shall we stay in government and maintain our power? Yes. And that's it. That's the only discussion. Shall we willingly give it up and walk into the wilderness? No. There you go. That's 2 sentences, 2 questions, 2 answers. Done. That's the debate. They want to waste an hour on this? God almighty. Life's too short to peel a mushroom, and certainly not going to be doing that. Oh my heavens to words. Anyway, it comes amid a growing anger among grassroots hard left Greens. Is there any other kind other than hard left? They're all hard left, aren't they? They're all Marxists. Anyway, this will be at Humza Yousaf's surprise decision to announce a 1-year council tax freeze. Previously, the Scottish Government had been considering dramatic hikes of up to 22.5% for the largest homes. A massive increase, not justified in terms of provision of services. And there are already cases that if it had gone ahead, there would have been prosecutions. They would have brought this to the courts because they're saying it's an unjustified rise. It's way more than just... what's the word I'm looking for? Inflationary rise. It's not even inflationary plus. It's an unjustified rise because there is no concomitant increase in servicing, and therefore it is deemed illegal. There are limits on what councils can do, you see. And that's the trouble. Humza Yousaf and his lot, they don't understand that there are laws against these things. They don't understand a lot, though, do they? And here's the thing. Stupid as the SNP are, and boy, we know they're stupid. They are like towering geniuses in comparison with the likes of Jeffrey and the deviant Imp. Anyway, This was one of several unpopular policies that have originated with Patrick Harvey and Lord Slater's party within the SNP. And there's growing recognition that the monumental collapse in the polls can be traced back to the deal with the Scottish Greens. Yes, because the Greens are morons and everybody sees it. And at the same time, opposition is also growing on the other side of the coalition. The conference agenda doesn't mention the SNP at all, while there is a Bute House agreement session scheduled between 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. I will probably do a flash video. I'm not going to do a full video. I'll probably do a flash video later just on the results of that and see if there's anything interesting. But let's be honest, there's not going to be much that's interesting in this conference, is there? Earlier in the day, the Association of Scottish Green Councillors are set to move an emergency motion. I had an emergency motion the other day, only just made it, let me just tell you. Anyway, this is describing the council tax freeze as unacceptable. And yet, it is acceptable. As I said, they, Geoffrey and the Imp, have accepted it because they haven't left government over it. Therefore, they agree with it. It states conference believes that the way the policy was announced at SNP conference without the agreement of COSLA, which was unacceptable and not in line with the principles of partnership, trust and mutual respect, which underpins both the Verity House Agreement and the Bute House Agreement. An awful lot of houses, aren't they? Although we all know there's only one house that matters, and that's House Atreides. And if you get that, well done. Anyway, conference believes that the local taxation should be decided by democratically elected local government. I actually believe that that's correct. I don't believe that the government should be interfering on council matters. Because we can't change the council but just simply because there's a change of government. But you can change a council without changing the government. And any council that announces these things needs to be changed. If that's how you feel, if that's how the majority of the people feel. It's called democracy. Anyway, Kayleigh O'Neill, co-convener of the Association of Scottish Green Councillors, said the freeze was proposed without the agreement of COSLA or the Scottish Greens. And she added, we will also reiterate that the Scottish Green Party's belief in progressive taxation and note that freezing council tax is a regressive policy. Well, we covered that in the previous video. It's not just regressive, it's actively assisting the wealthier in society. The very poor at the bottom don't get any benefit at all. And as you earn and as you go up the earnings ladder, you get more and more help as a result of this cut in council tax. Effective cut, real terms cut in council tax. It's weird, isn't it? I mean, I'm not your rabid lefty, tax the rich, eat the rich kind of guy. But I do appreciate, as someone who, as many regular viewers know, been an accountant for 35 years, I understand how tax works. And I do agree with the principle that those with the broadest shoulders bear the most weight. That's fine. There's no problem with that. Don't go mad over it. But, don't go the other way and actually assist the rich by stupid policies. The rich got rich because they're good at what they do, usually. There's some that just inherit it, but they're morons. We've all met them, But generally, people earn their money. They've got their money because of what they've managed to do. And that's fine. Don't have a problem with that. If your talent has made you rich, well done. But, you pay your tax. Don't avoid your tax, Rishi Sunak. I'm looking at you, billionaire, non-tax-paying, green card-holding tosspot. But, the tax goes in and that's fine. But don't do active things that actively help the rich. Just don't punish them. There's a difference. Anyway, speaking on a podcast earlier this week, can he stand on one? Can he actually get up to reach the microphone? Mr. Harvey said that the way the vote-chasing policy was announced left a lot to be desired. He added, I don't think it was handled well, and I think the First Minister has acknowledged that he didn't think it was handled well, the way it was sprung, not just on us, but I've seen the SNP local government colleagues expressing the same disquiet. Very odd, and it's probably one of the very few times I've ever agreed with Patrick Harvey. And isn't that frightening? Wow. Anyway, during the SNP's leadership contest earlier this year, the Greens warned that they would collapse the Bute House Agreement if Kate Forbes became First Minister. Damn it, guys. You were that close. You were that close to getting the SNP, the Greens out of government. If only you'd have had Kate Forbes as the leader of the SNP. He said, those policies are in the Bute House Agreement. Sorry, I'm facing the wrong bit there. Mr. Harvey said, we would not accept any Scottish government simply vetoing parts of the Bute House Agreement. Those policies are in the Bute House Agreement and that's what we're intending to deliver. And if there was a Scottish government with a new First Minister wanting to rip out parts of that agreement, clearly the agreement would come to an end. I think most people in Scotland want that agreement to come to an end with immediate effect. I think even certainly, well, I can say even in the SNP, certainly within the SNP, there are many who want it to go. There's not just the ground sort of the ground troops out in the streets or whatever, the members there, but certainly in Holyrood, the backbenchers there, they all want it to end. They know they're looking at election defeat. All the people in Westminster, all those MPs in Westminster, they're looking at election defeat because by lining themselves with the madness of the Greens and pushing policies that only the Greens would push, the GRR bill, for example, has destroyed them. It absolutely has. And that's why both the SNP and the members of the Greens want to dissolve the Bute House Agreement. It's only Geoffrey and the Imp who want it because money. Anyway, the official text of the coalition agreement states, we agree that funding local government through council tax is an area where inclusive, deliberative engagement would help develop a fairer, more inclusive and fiscally sustainable form of local taxation. Again, I actually kind of agree with that. And I'm not agreeing with the Greens on many things. They're bonkers. But yeah, it's got to be, council tax has got to be a local, devolved to the people at a local level area. So if you don't like it, you can vote them out next time. That's how it's got to be. Anyway, I shall round off there. Weirdly agreeing slightly on one tiny point with Patrick Harvey. Obviously looking to have a lot of fun with their conference when all 14 people, that's the 12 that turn up, plus the 2 at the top, all sit there, look at each other and go, got any ideas of what to say? No, I ain't got a clue, mate. Why? Because we haven't, have we? No. We're stupid, aren't we? Yes. That's it. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. And to round this off, I'm going to come up and we'll finish the video. So, pity the poor people in Dunfermline. It's a fine place. There's nothing wrong with Dunfermline. Been there many a time. But now they're having to put up with all these weird Greens, all these ultra-hard left Marxists plodding around the place. Everyone having to wear a rainbow because that's important, because identity politics is the only kind of politics they know. And then they're talking about things that would absolutely damage everybody's job, everybody's livelihood, the environment. They would damage everything. Why the people of Dunfermline? Go, find out where it is. Find out wherever they're holding this and go and invade en masse and shout abuse at these people because they deserve it. You know, £100 to get in. Sod that. Who the hell is going to pay £100 to listen to those twonks gabble on about a load of old crap? Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Do please hit the subscribe button. There's a bit of a dodgy, snidey thing going on where they keep dropping people out and losing subscribers. And it isn't people unsubscribing so much as, you know, YouTube doing it. We've had many reports of people saying, I've been unsubscribed. I've resubscribed twice and it keeps dropping it. It's because we're political. YouTube don't like it. Anyway, till next time, stay safe, stay well. And if you are in Dunfermline, go give them abuse. Bye.